What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is your review of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 9, episode 15. I didn't realize we had already been in 15 episodes of this season. This season damn near over. Um, this episode was mainly about Camille's wedding. We do have a little blurb at the beginning with Lisa Vanderpump taking a damn lie detector test. Now let me tell y'all something. I don't a bit more believe this lie detector test than the man in the moon. First of all, Lisa was so damn adamant that she's innocent and this is ridiculous and this is just, how dare her friends accuse her and all this other stuff. And she kind of threw it out at Dorit last week, the week before last. Do you want me to take a lie detector test? Do you want me to take a lie detector test? Like, it was so absurd. So I'm supposed to believe now that this thing that you're so offended that anybody would believe that now you feel the need to prove yourself by taking a lie detector test, then you created your own questions. So of course you could create questions to word them the way you want to word them so that you're not lying. Third of all, like they said later on in the episode, lie detector tests are not valid. They don't hold up in court. There have been plenty of people that have failed tests that are innocent people that took the test. This was so ridiculous. This was clearly something that the producers or somebody put this in play. This was not Lisa Vanderpump's idea. And it just came from left field. Because if you don't have nothing to prove to these women and you never want to speak to them again and your friendships with them is over, why the fuck are you bothering with this? So, yeah, I'm just gonna throw that on out there. I'm sure it's gonna come into play later on. We find out later on in the episode that Cal knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that saw her at the place taking the lie detector test. Really? First of all, I said this in the very first episode, I think, review of the season, maybe second review, I don't know. Supposedly, Cal found out about the lie detector test because a friend of her daughter's house got robbed and it was under construction. And so all the construction workers had to go take a lie detector test. And I guess the construction workers knew who Lisa Vanderpump was and told Cal's friend who told Cal's daughter, whatever. But let's talk about this. What the fuck is everybody getting robbed in Beverly Hills? Do they not have the best security systems? Teddy, your husband, ain't that his job? I mean, ain't that his company? Ain't that what he do? These have to be inside jobs, y'all. It's ridiculous. I don't understand how all these people get robbed. I bet you them people with rings don't get robbed. Mm-mm. That's what Shaq said. Shaquille O'Neal, sidebar. Shaquille O'Neal said they asked him about all these companies that he endorses, and he said, "I actually use their products." And he endorses Ring, and he said that he had bought a new house. He called the security agency to find out how much it was going to cost him to get his house, get the security put on his house, and they were trying to charge him he said something like $20,000, and he said that's a $20,000 lie. Called Ring. I don't know how much they charged him, but he said hooked him right up, and he said from that point forward, he's a customer. It works for him. He likes their service, so he decided endorse them. So anyway, I say all that to say, why the hell is everybody getting robbed in Beverly Hills? But anyway, back to the story. So Cal's bridesmaid's dress came in at the very last minute, but it didn't fit. She had to go get it altered. It was too tight around the bosom, and she had to get it altered and everything. But they all head out for Hawaii, okay? Dorit is by herself. PK couldn't go. We saw it last week where he was saying he just had too much going on. Teddy and her husband are there. Mauricio and Kyle are there. And Lisa Rinna is there by herself. Lisa Rinna was like, look, me and Harry been married damn near 30 years. We ain't got to do everything together. He can do his thing. I can do my thing. And we are so comfortable in our relationship that we're good. Now, I'm going to say 80% of me believes that. But I think the other 20% is, I think Harry is over this housewife shit. And he like, look, you do you get your check. But I'm going to be over here in the woods with the bears. And I'll come around. Every once in a while, I give you a little scene in the kitchen. I give you a little something, something. But I ain't doing this whole housewife shit. That's what I think it is personally. I don't think that their relationship is in any trouble or anything like that. I just think that Harry's over it. You know what I mean? I think he's just like whatever. So they all get on the plane. Of course, they're flying first class, darling. And they go to Hawaii. And if you go back to season one, which I watched the first season of the show, and then I didn't watch it for a couple of years, and then I came back to it. The first season of the show, Camille was on there, and we know she had a house in Hawaii, and that was the place that she would go to vacation. She said that's where she went after her and Kelsey broke up, and it was a solace for her, and it was a place where she was able to kind of, you know, get her zen back or whatever. And she sold the house that her and Kelsey had together, but then she bought another house, and that's just that's just her happy place. Hawaii is just her happy place. So that's why we're having the wedding in Hawaii. And Kyle is funny talking about it's such a far way to go for a destination wedding. I'm like, y'all are already on the West Coast. When I went to Hawaii, we didn't even have I don't even know if you can get it. Well, I'm sure you can get a direct flight, but my layover going to Hawaii, my layover was in Chicago, so I had a long flight because we went from Chicago to Hawaii. But coming back, my layover was like in San Francisco. So you own the West Coast, girl. Stop it. Your flight wasn't that bad. Not coming from where I was coming from. You lose a day when you coming back from Hawaii. You're in yesterday. Like you lose it. It's crazy, or you're a day ahead. Something crazy. But the jet lag is real. Anyway, my jet lag from Hawaii was worse than when I went to London. Isn't that crazy? Was it worse than when I went to Africa? I think my jet lag from Hawaii was worse than when I went to Kenya, honestly. Anyway, neither here nor there. Girl, stop playing. So they get to Hawaii, and of course, everybody's, they the first thing they do, they go by the beach and they do some paddle boarding, and um, of course, they have to talk about why Lisa ain't at the damn wedding. And Camille, of course, is still being her two-faced self, making it seem like, that she was so disappointed and she just didn't understand why Lisa just couldn't put everything aside and just be there for her. But my thing was, but when you was in Lisa's face, it was all, I understand, I understand, I do, I understand, I do. Bitch, make up your mind. Which face you giving us tonight? They do a little paddleboard, and that damn scary ass Kyle. Kyle ass is scared of every damn thing. Everybody else is standing up paddleboard, and she's sitting down. She go to stand up, and she look like she about to fall. And she get back down, talking about something. Okay, I'm done. She's so damn scary. Her ass. But she's fun. I like Kyle. So we see Denise. Denise is doing a movie, one of those Christmas movies. So coming to a Hallmark channel near you next Christmas, and she's doing it with her ex-boyfriend Muldoon. She was in Starship Troopers with, and she said that she really likes the fact that her husband is secure, and the fact that she could do a movie with her ex-husband, I mean her ex-boyfriend, and it not be a problem. She said Charlie wasn't like that. He didn't like her talking to her exes and stuff like that. So she really likes being in a relationship that's just secure. And they showed them a couple of times, but basically they just show her on her movie set. It's in Connecticut. She was like, I'd much rather be in Hawaii than in Connecticut in the middle of winter. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Back in Hawaii, um, they have a I guess you would call it like the rehearsal dinner, like the equivalent of the rehearsal dinner. But Camille had dinner at her new home in Hawaii, and of course it's beautiful. Of course it's a beautiful home, and everybody had a good time. She said she was a little when they at the beach. She said she was a little surprised to see Teddy, but it's nothing big. She's not worried about Teddy. It's all about her and her wedding, so whatever. Her mom, we find out that her mom is sick. Her mom is in the hospital and she may not make it to the wedding. The good news is that she does end up coming to the wedding, and so that's great. We're happy to see that. Um, and the rehearsal dinner was really, really nice. And all the trappings, honey. It was catered and had the bar and all that good stuff. And it looked like it was that everybody had a really good time. I'm telling y'all, this is the third episode in a row that I'm going to say this. These ladies are getting along so well without a certain someone around. I'm not going to blame that certain someone about why they don't get along. I'm just going to say that they are getting along and that certain someone ain't around. That's all I'm going to say. The only little hiccup we've had in the last 3 weeks, we had the little situation at the Boy George concert between Dorit, Kyle, and Kyle was just being extra. And then we had the little hiccup at the camping trip between Camille and Teddy. But Camille is extra. But you understand what I'm saying? But the shit didn't linger for 3 damn episodes. Kyle tried to make that shit at the Boy George thing linger, but we got her together. We got her together. Um, at dinner, they play this game. What do you like the most? What do you like the least? Those games are always very dangerous because somebody can get in their feelings. But it looked like it went pretty well. Um, Lisa said the only thing she didn't like about Harry was that she don't like the gum he chewed. Now, Lisa. Now, a minute ago I had your back, but on that one, Lisa, that's the only thing about your husband you don't like is the gum he chews. Child, please. So Teddy and her husband said basically that about Teddy being a control freak. She said, she is a control freak. So of course, when people don't have that same level of discipline, it irks her. But then her not being able to control her husband is what she loves about him because she she likes the fact that she can't control him. Mauricio and Kyle, I think Kyle said that she, of course, she loves everything about Mauricio, whatever. But sometimes his maturity level and the table kind of got a little quiet. Like, mm. um, Mauricio said he loves, how she makes him laugh and everything. And what did he say? What did he say he liked the least about her? I don't remember. It wasn't that damn important. But it was just a cute little game. Like nobody said anything earth shattering deep that was like, oh my goodness, you know what I mean? But it was cool. And again, they looked like they were having a good time. Lisa's not feeling well. Her voice is going out. So they end up leaving a little early so Lisa could get some rest and everything. And it's cool. They go back to the hotel. So the next day, everybody's kind of doing their own thing in the morning. Lisa's voice is totally gone. But honey, she drinking, and I know the feeling. That's how I was last week. She drinking everything. She got cough drops. She got throat lozenges. She got the spray. She drinking chamomile tea. She drinking lemon with honey and hot water. I get it. That's what I was doing last week. I was pulling anything, everything out. I said, "What the hell is wrong with me?" Um, and so that's what she was doing. So that made sense. Um, we see Teddy talking to her husband about the situation with her company, her having the opportunity to sell the company, which would give her more time with the kids, but her really liking the control and liking what she's building with her company and not really wanting to sell the company, but having that working mom guilt, And her husband told her, like, basically he was like, I'm going to support whatever decision you make, but the kids will be okay. Like, yes, they notice that you're not with them as much, and yes, they miss you, but it ain't the end of the world. They ain't gonna die. You're gonna be all right. Um, and my 2 cents on it is, I get it. I get, I'm not a mom, but I understand the idea of mom guilt. I absolutely do. If my mom had any guilt, she never shared it with us, and I never really asked her, did she have any guilt? I mean, when I was growing up, my mom always had at least two jobs. My dad always had two jobs. They had their regular job, and then my mom was always selling something. My mama sold Mary Kay. My mama sold insurance. My mama was always selling something. She did a lot of the what they call it um I forgot. It's a term for it, but she always was selling something. And my dad had his full-time job, but he did like masonry work and stuff like that. So he had his own business doing masonry stuff. So, but my mom was my Girl Scout troop leader. When I played sports, they came to my games. When I played in the band, they came to my recitals. Like, them working two jobs didn't stop them from doing now. What Well, yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, they came to pretty much every game. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I don't think at the end of the day it really hurts the kids because I know it didn't hurt me, and I'll speak for my sister and brother. You know, but hey, again, I can't judge it because I'm not a parent, so I can't judge it. It's certainly not something I'll ever understand. But I think they'll be all right, Teddy. I think the kids are good. It's an adjustment. They're used to having you full time and they don't anymore. It's not that you're being a bad mother. It's just an adjustment. That's just it. Um, Barbara Eaton. is in the movie that Denise is doing. And she said something I thought was interesting. You know, they talked to her about, would I Dream of Jeannie be acceptable in today's society with Me Too and all these other things. And Barbara Eaton said absolutely it would. She said because a genie, being a genie was her job. And a genie is not gender specific. So, you know, the idea, the premise, yes, it could still survive in today's society. If people would get that out of their head that a genie is this woman in a bikini. You know what I mean? And I was like, touche. And then Nicole, Denise, I don't know why I was calling that woman Nicole. Denise said she would love to be Jeannie. And I'm like, you know, they rebooting every damn thing else. If they did do a reboot, that would be cute. A reboot of I Dream of Jeannie. They would have to adjust some things for today's society, but I don't think it's a bad idea. Mauricio and Kyle are at breakfast, and Mauricio started talking about wanting to have a boy and carrying on the family name. And Kyle was like, okay, so 8 years ago, when I wanted another child and you didn't want another child, she was like, I'm too old now. Like, I'm done. Like, eight, the baby would be 8 by now if we decided to do that. But, you know, you were like, nah, nah, nah. And that moment has passed, brother. And he said, well, you know, we also need to finish up making our estate planning, you know. And Kyle started hemming and hawing, and he was like, no, no, no. Like, really, it's not fair to our kids that things are not in place. And, you know, I got the impression that the last time they sort of did this whole estate planning thing, the kids were babies and they probably had people in place that would take care of them. But now all of their children are of age except for Portia. And now Portia has, you know, older sisters and siblings that could step in rather than a family member or something like that. And Mauricio was like, look, we're doing our kids a disservice. God forbid something happened to us and our affairs are just not in order. And you know, we see it all the time. I mean, look at Prince. You know, died without a will. Aretha Franklin died. I don't believe they ever found an actual will or an updated will. Whitney Houston's will was outdated when she passed away. You know, the reality is the more you have, the more organized you should be. Hell, I ain't got nothing and I got a will and I ain't got a damn thing. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I got a house, I got a few little odds and ends, but trust and believe it ain't that deep, you know. And I don't have children, so I if there's something that I want to go to somebody specifically, I need to have it organized. And you know, I first did my will the first time I went overseas. I don't know why that made me think I needed to do a will, but I was like, you know, I'm going to Europe and I'm going to be traveling and I'm going to be, you know, in my mind I was like, I need to make sure all my affairs are in order before I get on this plane, you know. And again, I don't have nothing. So y'all, it is very important to make sure that you have your estate planning. So anyway, the couples all go to dinner that night. I was thinking the wedding was gonna be the next day, but they had another day in Hawaii to kind of chill out or whatever. And that damn Mauricio was high as Cooter Brown. Mauricio and Kyle was very nice to say he was partaking of the island. I was like, yeah, he was partaking of the weed. Okay. And Mauricio was high as hell, and they were just giggling and laughing at him because you know. So I've heard when you're high and nobody else is high around you, you are the joke. There have been plenty of times when I'm in a room with somebody and they're high and the rest of us are not, and they don't understand why we're laughing at them. And I'm like, mm. If you only saw what we saw right now, like you crazy as hell. But yeah, so the wedding is the next day. Oh, that was when Kyle told them about the lie detector test. And like I said, Lisa Rinna brought up a good point. Lisa said, who comes up with the questions? And that's my thing. You know, a lie detector tests really don't mean shit, especially depending on where the questions are coming from and how you're wording the questions. But neither here nor there. I already talked about that. I ain't gonna beat that dead horse. The wedding is finally here. It is beautiful. Camille looks beautiful. It's a beautiful day. They got a rainbow. They're outside. The breeze is blowing. Camille's mom was able to make it. It was a great moment. It was a great day. You know, Camille gets on my nerves, but I love love, you know. And I definitely love that she was able to have this day. Now she talking about some she ain't changing her name from Grammer. She's gonna be Camille Grammer, whatever her husband's last name is. Talking about um it's just easier because so many people know her as Grammer, and you know she don't want to and maybe she's just a little bit lazy. It's so much paperwork. No, you enjoy being a Grammer because at the end of the day, you show up in Beverly Hills, your last name is still Grammer. They know you ain't with him no more, but you still like that name. You like because as much as you talk about that dog, you talk about him like a dog. As much as you talk about that man, but you still holding on to his last name. Anyway, like I said, the wedding was beautiful, and that's pretty much where the episode ended. So let me know what you guys think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.